Hello and welcome to GeoGnosis Lab. I'm Phil A. Today, we're turning our lens to a city that is synonymous with explosive growth, an oasis of innovation in the heart of Texas, Austin. But behind the facade of the live music capital and tech paradise, the data tells a more complex story, a story of prosperity and of barriers. So, here is our quick verdict. Austin is a city of opportunity with a prohibitive cost of entry, where your professional success may not be enough to guarantee you can stay. To understand Austin, we first need to look at its economic engine. The city boasts a median income of $75,752, nearly $12,000 more than the state average. That's not just a number, it's the promise of a better life that attracts talent from all over the world. The income index, which compares the city to the state, is 118.69, meaning the purchasing power here is theoretically almost 19% higher. Let's put a face to these numbers. Think of Luke, a 30-year-old software engineer who moved here. The salary he can command in Austin is significantly higher than in his hometown. He is the personification of Austin's appeal. The unemployment rate reinforces this narrative. At 4.36%, it's noticeably below the state average of 5.30%. The job market here is hot, it's vibrant. But, as we'll see, a good job is only half the equation for living in Austin. Now for the other side of the coin, the cost of living, specifically housing. The median value of an owner-occupied home in Austin is a staggering $358,600. The city-home ratio, which compares home value to income, is 4.73. To put it simply, a person needs almost 5 years of their entire gross income just to pay for their house, without spending anything on food, medicine, and taxes. In comparison, the state average is 2.93. That's a brutal difference. The result? A home ownership rate of just 45.51%. Less than half the population can afford to buy their home. The majority rents, and the median rent is $1,191, with a rent burden of 28.5%, meaning almost a third of their income goes straight to rent. Think of Anna, a 35-year-old teacher with 2 kids. This mathematical reality means the dream of home ownership is increasingly out of reach. For the median resident, the Austin dream can quickly feel like a nightmare. And the city has over 5,300 housing units valued at more than $1 million. That's not just a data point, it's a symbol of the exclusivity that is becoming the norm in Austin. How can a city be an engine of opportunity if the people who make it run can't afford to live in it? Let's analyze Austin's human fabric. With a population of nearly 966,000 and a median age of 34, the city is young and vibrant. The population density is 3,011 people per square mile, classified as medium density. This suggests a city that still has room to breathe, but it's 27 times denser than the Texas average, indicating a concentrated urbanization. The racial and ethnic makeup shows us a diverse city: 48.24% white, 33.3% Hispanic, 7.65% Asian, and 7.4% Black. This mix is undoubtedly one of the city's cultural strengths. But can that diversity survive when the cost of living rises so dramatically? The buildings tell part of this story. The median year of construction for residences is 1989. This tells us that while there's new growth, much of the city's housing stock is already a few decades old, which can mean additional maintenance costs for its residents. And this brings us to the issue of inequality. Austin's prosperity is not being shared by everyone. The Gini index, a measure of income distribution, is 0.48. A value of 0 represents perfect equality, while 1 represents perfect inequality. At 0.48, Austin is approaching a considerable level of inequality. The poverty rate is 12.53%. This means that in a city with a per capita income of nearly $45,000, more than 1 in 10 people lives below the poverty line. The poverty index, comparing the city to the state, is 88.11, indicating that while poverty is slightly lower than the state average, it is still a stark reality for tens of thousands of people living in the shadow of glass skyscrapers. Even though poverty is 12% lower in Austin, looking at the Gini index, it may mean that Austin attracts people with higher incomes while pushing people with lower incomes to other locations in Texas or the country. This is the central tension of Austin, an engine of wealth that at the same time deepens the divide between the haves and the have-nots. The Austin dream is real, but it seems to be for an increasingly select group. We've arrived at the urban dilemma. Is it worth moving to Austin? The answer, as always, depends on who you are and what you're looking for. For Luke, the young, single, high-income software engineer, the answer is probably yes. The high cost of housing is a price he can pay in exchange for a fast-tracked career and a vibrant social life. He can rent a modern downtown apartment and enjoy everything the city has to offer. But for Anna, the teacher with a family, the equation is much harder. Her income, while decent, is crushed by the cost of housing. For her, Austin might represent a constant struggle, where the dream of stability and security becomes a financial nightmare. She, and many others like her, artists, service workers, public employees, are the soul of the city, but they are being pushed to the margins. Austin is a microcosm of the 21st century modern city's dilemma, a hub of innovation and growth that risks losing its soul by becoming unaffordable. Success has bred an identity crisis. The city needs to decide if it wants to be an exclusive playground for the wealthy or a diverse and sustainable community for all. Making big decisions, like where to live, requires more than just feelings. It requires data, and that's why we are here. If you value fact-based analysis to understand cities around the world, subscribe to GeoGnosis Lab. This is Phil A. for GeoGnosis Lab. We read the data so you can read the world.